Welcome back to 10 Pence Podcast. This is Michael Beck with Adam Nielsen and Mr. Handsome Robbie. We are here. We're still at Gridlife. It's Saturday, and we are here with Mr. Justin Pawlak. How are you, sir?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Good. Probably feeling a lot better now that your car's running again.
Yeah. Yesterday ran into just a little hiccup. Pulled in from the second session and spotted like a little bit of oil underneath the car, and I'm really adamant about no leaks on my car at all. So obviously it raised a red flag. Did some initial inspection, didn't quite sort out what the issue was. Went through changing all the oil. I thought maybe it was the O-ring on the oil filter. Got through changing the oil, started up, and it's still like leaking oil. So I was pretty distraught at that point. Took the oil filter back off, pulled the oil filter cooler adapter deal off, and found that the O-ring had split, which was really kind of weird. And I knew that at that point it was going to be like a needle in a haystack to try to find O-ring like that. It just is not very common. But got up pretty early this morning and went to, I think, 5 local stores, and fortunately O'Reilly had a universal oil filter adapter O-ring kit, which saved the day.
Awesome. So you got back out there. The drift sessions got kind of screwed up today because earlier we had somebody dumped a bunch of oil or something on the track when we were standing out there. So
it's one of the Time Attack cars, a BMW, if I remember right.
Time Attack's been killing it. They've been getting towed off, oiling down everything that they can.
Yeah,
it's typically the drift guys on this weekend.
Exactly, it's been the Time Attack guys. So that pushed everything back almost an hour and a half, I think. Mm-hmm. So you've only done, what time is it right now?
They
so
still
it's
got
like
one
6
more
o'clock. You got one more drift session that was supposed to be scheduled for 8, and I think they're probably going to have to push that back a little bit too, by the sound of things. So, but we'll see. It's been a long day of racing. It's been a really good day, but it's nice and warm out.
Yeah, it's definitely been hot, but you can't complain about the weather right now in Michigan. I mean, it's beautiful. It could definitely be super cold. It's been colder, obviously like last week and stuff. So we're glad that there's no clouds in the sky. There's no rain.
Yep.
A little bit of heat ain't gonna hurt nobody.
No. So you've got is that a 2016 Mustang?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's still the Coyote motor in that car, right?
It's actually a Ford Performance Illuminator crate motor.
Okay.
The only thing that I've changed on it is the injectors and the spark plugs. So it is like stone stock crate motor. It's the high compression, so it's 11-to-1. It's topped with a Roush Performance 2.3-liter TVS supercharger, which comes on their RS3 street car. So it's really just a collaboration of street car parts. Obviously, the Coyote has forged internals. I've upgraded the feed belt system to the VMP 8-rib kit, and I'm still running the Ford Performance Controls Pack ECU. So we're still on a factory ECU. It's been custom calibrated by Roush and kind of tweaked on a little bit by Jason Offlin from PSI. Just small adjustments, but we're pumping out close to 1,000 horsepower out of that setup.
Jeez. Holy cow.
It's crazy that you could get a crate motor that you could put 1,000 horsepower through
and that's
regularly.
That is our whole drive with this setup, is that in drifting, especially in the Pro Series, there's all these unicorn motors. Mm-hmm. These unobtainables, these like $60,000 race motors in these cars. And, dude, who seriously is going to afford one of those motors? Unless you're a huge back team. I mean, I'm not going to afford that. I don't got that kind of money.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I have solid sponsors that have a good solution for somewhat of an affordable setup. I mean, if you had a 05 and up Mustang, you could honestly drop that engine straight into your car. For, like, fully dressed everything, like even if you wanted to run like all the same injectors, the clutch, like bell housing, everything would be like 27 grand. Bare bones, you're looking at about 16 grand.
That's insane.
That's the cheapest 1,000 horsepower car I've ever heard of.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
Is that why we're seeing guys pick up the Mustang platform now, even at a professional and at an amateur level?
I think, to be honest, is like, the S197, which is 05 to 14 Mustang, I think it's becoming in the price range that is affordable. I mean, I did a 06 Mustang build. I did a Coyote swap with the Roush Charger. I got fully retarded with it. I picked it up. I wanted like a Mustang street car, but dude, I'm a super hustler, so I actually bought a Jeep Wrangler, fixed an axle, traded that for a Camaro, and then traded the Camaro for a Mustang plus $2,000. So I mean, I think I had like $3,900 into it.
Oh, that's perfect.
But I'm a hustler, so. But I mean, you can seriously go and pick up a Mustang GT, maybe with some miles on it for $5-6 grand.
Yeah,
so it's
sure.
an affordable car. It's like the 350Zs. It's come down in price.
Mm-hmm.
People that have a full-time job or even like a solid part-time job can afford something like that. It's feasible. It's obtainable.
And you're doing a lot of this work on your car, right? I mean,
I do everything.
You're the guy that does it all.
I built my entire car. The cage, I developed the front suspension. It gets 74 degrees of steering angle. I stitch weld the entire car. I built a rotisserie to stitch weld the car. Everything on that car I've done.
You've got a shop, actually, don't you?
Yeah, it's called Hotline. I used to have employees, and just because racing has got so serious, I just don't have time to juggle the two. So I am just full-time with maintenance and obviously like building, and I dabble in other things too. I'm like big into like rock crawling. I got a Ultra 4 buggy. I got a Courier that I'm building into a rock crawler. I got a 60 Galaxy Starliner that's linked and bagged. I don't know. I got a lot of toys.
Like a Ford Courier?
Yeah, like the
Really?
mini truck.
No way.
Yeah, 72 pre-smog. Don't have to deal with anything in California.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So are you like pre-runner style thing or
No,
or
rock crawler.
Rock crawler.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty funny actually. If you're familiar with Back to the Future, which I know there's a bunch, but when Biff comes back, he's like a detailer, and he comes back and it's like Biff's Auto Detailing. Well, I found this truck on Craigslist for $400, and it says Biff's Auto Detailing on it.
No.
And I just thought it's gonna be super funny that I'm gonna like exo cage this thing and just run it through the rocks. So when it's all just hammered down, beat up like tin metal, sheet metal, it's just going to say Biff's Auto Detailing. And I think it's going to be kind of cool.
That's awesome.
That is sick. Did you start out your career with an RX-7?
I did.
Is that right? Did you have an FC?
I did.
Okay. I'm putting back together an FC RX-7, so.
Awesome.
I'm not doing a rotary, though.
Oh, good for you.
Okay.
That's the right answer. That is the right answer.
How long did you run that car for?
I started in 2005.
Okay.
And, I had it. It got stolen in 2011. But I ran it until 2008 in the pros. So I came up super fast. I feel like I was the last wave, or maybe like even Odie, the last wave of guys that really had it. I don't know. I don't want to say this, but to be honest, it's like a solid chance to go from amateur to pro. I mean, it is just such a huge jump nowadays.
So mainstream now.
Yeah, not to deter anybody from chasing their dream. I mean, I am a walking, talking person that 100% obtained their dream. I don't have like huge family backing. I just worked my butt off, and I fortunately had doors open at the right time, and I went through my own trials and tribulations, unfulfilled sponsorships. My rookie year, it's not really well known, but my title sponsor pulled out halfway through the season.
Really?
So, MasterCard funded the rest of my season. I was like mad in debt going into 2009. Got hooked up with a team which, lightened the burden of expenses for drifting.
Sure.
But still, I had debt carried over until 2010 when I got hooked up with Falcon, and they were an absolute godsend, and they changed my life. To be honest, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have gotten out of debt like as fast as I did. But having that positive income and being able to hustle on the side, I was out of debt in like a year.
Yeah.
So
that was 5 years, right?
Yeah.
5-6 years where you went from in it by yourself to the point where you had like a full
ride and sponsor.
Flagship sponsor.
Yeah, it was a dream come true.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that though, because how many people push for 5 years through failure and debt and those sorts of things to achieve something? People usually give up in shorter periods of time than that.
I was so close to giving up, but like mad props to my wife. In 2009, it was a really rough year with the camp that I was with. A lot of unfulfilled promises. Like, word to anybody that's listening: if you draw up a deal with a sponsor, get it signed on the paper. Don't do a handshake deal. Your handshake in the Midwest is worth something. Like, this is where I'm from. I grew up in Kalamazoo. Handshake in California ain't worth nothing.
Yep.
Get it on paper. I made that mistake 2 years in a row, and I paid for it. But fortunately, I was able to work through it, and it was just a bump in the road, and it wasn't too bad. But that's one of those things that is just, you live and you learn.
Yeah, makes sense. To talk to us about Formula D for you this year, how's the season going for you so far?
This year's not going that well, to be honest. It's been tough. I've been struggling with car setup. Last year was a really tough year. I'm getting more comfortable. Every time I get in the car, I learn things. I'm actually learning a lot this weekend about things that I had a theory on. Last event was really solid. Dave from Toge Factory helped with some suspension adjustments, coilover adjustments, which is super cool because he doesn't even, I'm on KWs, and he obviously owns a different suspension company, but he was cool enough to offer some insight on things, and it really changed the dynamics of that car. And I qualified third. It was the best qualifying I've had in the last 2 years. So I was super pumped about that, and I mad thanks to that guy. It just, what a nice guy. But I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting more comfortable in the car, but there's still some things that I need to make adjustments on. Like this weekend, I kind of noticed I need more brake. Driving that S197 car, man, I can like charge up on people and slam on the brakes and like stick to their door. And my car, I'm not there yet. I need more brake. I went with a really lightweight brake setup, and it's obviously not working. So we need to go back to the drawing board on that. But it's cool, like, I enjoy continuing to develop the car, and at these events it's great because there's no stress. It's just go out, like throw some 360s, just
which
jam,
was awesome.
Yep.
And just go run with the boys. Like it's all we got all the old Falcon drift cars out, all the nostalgics, and it's just no stress. It's like it's what I got into drifting for, to be honest.
Is that your old S197 that's here today?
No, that's actually the one that Vaughn put into the wall in Vegas back in 2009. That after that event, it turned into a demo car. My 2010 car, actually, I don't know what happened to that car. I know they built me a new car in 2011, and then that one actually ended up getting sold to some dude in Dubai like last year. So that car's gone. And I don't know what ASD did with the other cars. Who knows? That's a story. That's
so the one that's here today, is that your only car then?
Which one?
My
Mustang.
Your S550. That's
yeah.
the one
that is the only one I have right now. I actually have a body in white, which is a bare shell, back at my shop, and I'm building that into a demo car. I should have that completed by SEMA, and then I am actually working on a 2018 Mustang for next year.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be doing the...
So is the demo car going to be radically different, or are you going to do anything?
It's going to be really simple.
Yeah.
Not that this car isn't actually... This car is pretty simple too, but the demo car is going to have the Roush RS3 Phase 2 tune in it, which will be 727 horse, so a little bit less horse. It's still going to have an illuminator, the Roush charger. Still going to run the XZ twin disc. So I run an off-the-shelf twin disc clutch, like just whatever XD offers, nothing like crazy, and that thing lasts like a year. So through like just so much abuse,
especially in drifting.
Yeah, for sure. So it's going to run that clutch. I have a Magnum XL transmission. I'm running the factory differential, going to run the Ford Performance axles, and then I'm actually running factory lower control arms on the rear. We're going to do a coilover conversion bracket, so we're still going to run coilovers on the rear. I've developed an add-on caliper bracket instead of the dual caliper bracket like I have on this car. This car has like all tubular arms in the back, all fabricated. And then on the front, we're still going to run the angle kit, but maybe like shorter arms, so I can actually run like a big fat tire because I want to road race the car. So that's why I'm doing a 6-speed regular like style transmission instead of a 4-speed dog box, because I'd like to be able to maybe do like half drift, half like road race here at like an event like this, but I also want to do like those Texas mile like top speed stuff, and just different things other than drifting, just having more of a multi-use vehicle.
You want to do that at like a pro level, or just kind of at a...
No, just for fun.
Just for, okay,
just as a marketing tool for,
absolutely.
All my sponsors.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of events that we don't necessarily, we aren't able to go to because it's this car is just strictly drift car. And if I made something that was more like, even maybe like go dodge some cones, who knows, but I just feel like it would be a better tool to do more and different things with. So
Yeah.
Seat time still seat time.
100%.
So
100%.
that's
And
important.
I think you can learn things, similar platform in a different discipline that you can utilize for like pro drifting or whatever. Just switching stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. So what originally drew you towards drifting?
It just looks cool. I mean, it was back when Street Fighter was around, if anybody remembers that. It was like
Streetfire.net.
I do remember that, actually.
Pre-YouTube.
I do remember that.
So
If you wanted to watch anything, racing anything, it was on Street Fighter.
You used to be able to get all the UK Top Gears that were ripped on there. So if you didn't want to torn them, you could stream them through Street Fire.
Then there was the extra. They had the longer cuts, so we never got.
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, they had the UK cuts that were different.
there was some dirty stuff on there. So yeah. But we used to always watch the old J dudes in toge drifting.
Yeah.
And we were like, what is this stuff? Like, this is crazy. They're like sliding sideways. I was in the DSMs actually when I was here. So I was into street racing and all of that. And then we saw this drifting stuff. And then in 2001, they had this drift exhibition at Irwindale in the parking lot. And this Drifter X guy came over. And we're like, who is this Drifter X guy? And me and a bunch of friends, we were living in Arizona at the time. We drove over and we went and watched that in the parking lot. And I was just like, holy shit, dude, I can do this. Because, I mean, growing up in Michigan, you're sliding around in the snow in the wintertime. I had a pickup truck, so I was just like, yeah, I'm like pro drifter, And going and watching that event, it's like, dude, I think I know I can do this shit. I used to slide my truck around all the time, into, just any time it was snowing or raining, I was getting that thing sideways. So, in 2000, probably 2 or 3, I actually got a just stock Arc 7 and played around with it, and then I moved to California and I got a job at AEM. Doing technical support and learning engine management stuff, and then that's when I got the kind of the infamous green RX-7. Back then it was red, but I got that car and just started slowly building it up, going to industry drift days, and then there was this Just Drift series that popped up in 2006, and I mean back then it was crazy. It's pretty cool because now the style is coming back into the sport, but dude, there was a minute that there was just shitty cars. Everybody was about the muscle car phase, and it was acceptable.
Just thrashing them.
Yeah, it was acceptable to have crappy cars.
Yeah.
But back then, it was everybody was flossing, dude. Everybody had legit wheels. There wasn't any knockoff stuff. We had knockoff aero because dude, real aero was crazy expensive. It was such a waste of money because you're blowing it apart. But everybody had their car painted, and it was super fresh. And I was just. When I lived here, I was all against body kits. Body kits are so dumb. But, drifting is, the exception.
Yeah.
Right,
you can
exactly.
have a body kit in drifting because it's all about style.
Yep.
We actually had an episode last year where we did Dudemeyer Ricer. And then no matter what it was, there was a drifting exception.
Oh, right.
Right.
Oh, this is a drift car? Never
No,
mind.
it's cool. It's fine. You can do whatever you want.
For sure.
Underglow, body kits, whatever.
No, and
It's
you can
good.
get away with it. Super camber, you can get away with it. And because it's all about the style. And that's really what drew me to drifting. When I started doing it and started having success in it, I think that's when I really set my sights on becoming a pro. Because, I was watching, I'd go to pro events. When I worked at AEM, I was I basically assembled Tanner Faust's 05 350Z championship car.
Really?
Wow.
I worked for Stefan Papadakis. So being around that and going to D1 and even competing at D1 and getting my license and stuff, I realized I knew something inside. I was like, dude, I can do this. I just had that confidence and that feeling, and I was really successful in Just Drift, and even after that, doing HIN demos and trying to create a budget and build my car and doing Nopi. I did Nopi and beat a bunch of pros, and I was just some amateur driver on a car that I threw together in my garage. And I think I just like raised some eyebrows and stuff, and I don't know, dude. Something I just knew that this was gonna happen, and it's been just a hell of a lot of work, but I don't know, it was like meant to be or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were killing it on Friday, for sure. I mean,
Thank you.
That was awesome to watch. Those 360s, nobody saw that coming. That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I thought you were crashing for sure. I'm sitting there going, we did that on
No,
oh,
no,
nah,
he's just
okay.
doing
Well,
360s.
the first one wasn't like super smooth, so I was like, I gotta back that up because
Yep.
everybody's gonna be like, he screwed up. But the second one was really solid.
But you were doing it on turn 1, so like, you know, it was for everybody to see.
for sure, it was
right out front.
100%
Yeah.
like it was planned. Like I was like checking out, all right, where are the most people? All right,
All right,
turn
here it
one,
is.
here it
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
But I did that, and it wasn't just this weekend. We shot Valet 2. I don't know if you guys like follow my social media or whatever, but we did a Valet 1 we called it Spalding. It was an S197 SEMA build. So it was like this super fresh, like custom paint job, like Mustang, phase 3 supercharged. So it was like 700 and something odd horse.
Yeah.
And it was a SEMA car. I mean, it wasn't really a drift car, but somehow Roush let me drift that thing at the Peterson Auto Museum. Yeah, they trust me.
Yeah.
But I drifted it through the parking garage, and like up the spiral, like that go from like one level to the next, like some Tokyo drift stuff, you know. But yeah, I mean, we shot that whole thing, and it did really well. Like it went viral and had a lot of views and everything. But so we did a Valet 2 here, and I was throwing 360s through turn 1. So I was like, and that was in a stock car, so I knew that I could do it.
You could do it in this car.
Yeah, but I was just like, might as well, you know, switch it up. Everybody's drifting that corner normal. I mean, I can mob through that corner normal all day long, but
Yeah.
it's, you know, at the end of the day, like even in pro competition, it's really just putting on a show for the fans.
Yep.
So whatever just like gets people stoked, that's what I'm going to try to do. And I've been trying to like rack my brain, like what else can I do? Because like I'm kind of, to be honest, kind of getting bored with these 360s. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, try to
But-
innovate.
On to the next thing.
So I don't know. We'll see.
I didn't watch Getting on this session, but I don't know if he tried going backwards into turn, whatever that is, 3 or 4 over there. He was doing that in the second session earlier
the
today.
clear on the back.
Mm.
He was trying to do reverse entries into that.
Mm.
So, you know who Chris Stewart is, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to Adam Jabay. You know who he is? Motorsports director
yes.
here today.
Yep.
He was telling me that they were watching you do those 360s, and you know they've been doing these track day things, especially here, for like 15 years, and nothing phases them, right? Chris Stewart, apparently he's like the most, you know, nothing surprises him guy ever. Blew his mind when he saw you do that.
Right
so
on.
you've made an impression to even the most unfazable people.
Right
so.
on. Phased him. Tight. That's cool.
It's pretty cool. You guys have anything else? I know you got another drift session coming up, so I don't want to
Yeah.
hold you up too
Yeah,
much
no
in
worries.
case you got to
It's
do
awesome
anything
chatting
else.
with you
So,
guys.
yeah, oh, excellent. Like we said, you made a big impression on Friday, so that was really cool. So I'm glad you could come in here and chat with us a little
Yeah,
bit
you
today.
bet.
And,
Thanks for having me.
anything you wanna plug? Any social media?
Sponsors.
No, it's you know, check out that Roush Performance Mustang.
Yep, pretty straightforward. All right, well, thanks again. We'll catch everybody else next time. Peace out.